Welcome back to another live stream on the channel. I have just made a full list of all of my top cryptos on the screen. You can see my projected X potential for each coin, and you can see the sectors they're in and the size in terms of market cap. This right now is my pretty much complete list of cryptos. I do hold a few other low caps that obviously the VIPs are aware of, but these are the main coins I'm holding right now. And it's important to differentiate the difference between X potential and market cap and things like that, okay? Because a lot of people come into crypto and they come from maybe TradFi where getting a 2X is considered amazing. And they will come into crypto and say, yeah, if I can get between a 5 to a 10X, I'd be absolutely made up and that'll be enough for me, okay? Other people, they've been in the crypto space for a while. They know those types of gains are pretty conservative when it comes to crypto, and you can make much more than that. And then they come in with much more optimistic targets and expectations. So it's important to have a diversified portfolio, in my opinion, with different categories and different sizes in market cap. And that's exactly what I put together here on the screen. Now, there's a couple coins which are hidden from you guys. They are recent buy alerts in the VIP group. And I will be telling the VIPs, obviously, which ones they are, because some people may be a bit confused. But they are two of my recent buy alerts in the VIP. One of them is a micro cap, really, really small. I think it's got somewhere between 7 to 50x potential. It could do anywhere in that region. The other is a mid cap. And for the mid cap one, I'd say, probably somewhere between a 7 to a 15x. I could expect on that one. Okay, so if you are interested in those ones, if you are interested in my buy alerts in real time, then check out the VIP. A lot of people are joining right now. The more demand we get, the higher the chance that I increase the price pretty soon. So do get in if you're interested. But we've got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to be going through as many of the comments as I can. It's very interesting. People starting to freak out in the markets despite a very tiny correction. I mean, this was always on the cards. I put out a VIP exclusive video yesterday saying I expected a dump to 92K. People freak out. It's like people they can't handle a bit of patience. They can't wait a few days before the bull run continues, and it really just shows how this space really messes with people's minds. You can't handle a day or two down after like a week or two up, So you need to be you need to be able to handle the red days just as much as you can handle the green days. If you can handle 2, 3, 4 weeks straight up, but you can't handle a couple days down, then crypto maybe isn't for you, right? Because this is a routine thing in crypto. And to me, everything is looking fine structurally. When I'm looking at the charts, it's all looking good to me. One thing I would say is we could still come a little bit lower, right? If we go on the daily here for Bitcoin and we take a look, we rejected clearly at this golden pocket fib level. I think it's very possible we come down to the next level, right? The next level on the fibs, which would be the 0.5, which would put us at 92.2K. Don't freak out if that happens, okay? Don't freak out. There's no reason to freak out if that happens. We are getting a little bit overbought on the shorter term timeframes. I'm not concerned at all right now. Okay, now, yes, we did have a rejection. It's something to be aware of, but it's not something to freak out about. And I see people doing that already. They're freaking out. You got to stay level-headed in this space. But yeah, we had the Kaspa crescendo upgrade as well. That was obviously very good in terms of the fundamentals for Kaspa. Didn't really affect the price. But in a way, that's a good thing because it could have affected it to the downside had it been a sell the news event. Luckily, it wasn't too much of a sell the news event. It was kind of just already priced in and the market just kind of ignored it, right? But yeah, Bitcoin starting to move up a bit. We're looking okay, right? I'm going to get into the comments now. But remember, VIP is quite cheap when you think about it. We made a few X's already just in the last couple weeks. So if you're putting in like $1,000 into one of these buy alerts, you 3x your money, 4x your money, you got 4K right, from 1K. You paid off easily the VIP for the rest of your life. So that's something to consider. Anyway, let's get into the comments, see how you guys are doing. I'm going to try and get through all the questions today. So please do get any questions you have in the chat. But yeah, this is a pretty good list I've got on the screen here. And I've put this key here just so you can differentiate the difference in terms of size, right? Because I guess some of these terms are quite subjective, like what's a blue chip? What's a mid cap? What's a low cap? So I've just given my definitions, the way how I've defined them. For me, a blue chip is a coin that's over $1 billion in market cap at this moment in time. A mid cap would be a coin that is $1 billion or lower. So I've put Say as a mid cap, even though it has been above $1 billion at times. Right now, it's below $1 billion. So it's a mid cap for me. And then for low caps, I've gone 100 million and below. Okay, anything below 100 million, I'd consider a low cap. I think IO, it's basically on 100 million. So I've just put it on the low cap side anyway. That's io.net. Okay. Let's get into the questions. CZ said that this year BTC will be at 500K and will be at 1 million at the cycle peak. So in his view, the cycle will continue till 2026 or 2027. What do you think about this? Look, any of these guys with a lot of power, I don't listen to a single prediction they ever make. Michael Saylor, CZ, Sam Bankman-Fried, any of these guys in the past, I don't listen to any of their price predictions. They might be really intelligent guys. They built successful businesses and all of that. But that's the exact reason as to why I don't listen to their predictions, because they're trying to get everyone to FOMO in because they're smart salesmen, right? They're smart businessmen. If you're Michael Saylor, you're all in on Bitcoin, essentially. I mean, what else are you going to do? You're going to say that Bitcoin's going down at the end of the year? You're not going to say that, right? You're going to say Bitcoin's going up forever. Buy now, 100x your money. You know, you'll retire on Bitcoin. And the reality is that's not the case, right? You're not going to retire on Bitcoin anytime soon unless you've got millions in Bitcoin. So people need to just face the reality. Kathy Wood, Michael Saylor, CZ, any of these guys, I don't listen to their price targets. They've been way off already. So I don't even listen to their price targets with a slither of seriousness. I'm just sorry, I don't. Was it Kathy Wood or Michael Saylor who said this cycle it'll be 1 million or 500K to 1 million? I mean, yeah, just ludicrous predictions. And you guys know me with predictions. I'm fairly conservative. Sometimes I get a bit of backlash for being too conservative. But man, there are some ridiculous price targets out there in the crypto space. Not only from crypto influencers who are giving 100x targets on like high cap coins. See these blue chips here that I'm saying, you know, maybe 3x, 10x, 5x, 7x. These blue chips, some other YouTubers are giving 100x targets in like the next few months. It's just ridiculous. But it's not just YouTubers. It's also these astute, well-accomplished businessmen and women around the world who also give asinine targets. You got to be very, very careful with these targets, guys. You really do. You will get absolutely wrecked if you believe all these targets that people tell you. And it's not just crypto influencers. It's also some of these well-accomplished businessmen and women, like I said. And look, Michael Saylor, I don't deny he's a very smart man. He's got a great model that's working for his business. But when it comes to Bitcoin price predictions, I don't listen to him, okay? Because he's going to tell me it's going to 10 million next week if I listen to someone like him, right? So it's always way too bullish. And obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I've heard targets of like 13 million, 1 million this bull run. We go in a 10-year super cycle and just pump forever. It's all just, you know, minds in the clouds type of rhetoric. People need to come down a level, right? Get their head out of the clouds. After the Kaspa crescendo, do you think we'll get a tier 1 now? Great question. I mean, that's the $1 million question, right? If I knew the answer to that, I think we'd all be extremely rich off Kaspa in the next, whenever it is, right? But it should be. I mean, that wallet keeps on loading up. If you go to cas.fyi, I believe it is, there is a wallet number 2, is it? It keeps going up in size. Let's pull up the... Can we get top addresses? Here we go. Yeah, so wallet number 2, which is not named, has $66 million in Kaspa. They just bought another 9.9 million Kaspa tokens. Basically another 10 million Kaspa. In the last 24 hours, they've just loaded up 900 grand worth of Kaspa tokens in dollars, right? It's around 10 million tokens. So they now own 2.7% of the supply, and it's still very much unknown who this wallet is. It has to be an exchange in my mind. And since it's so high, 2.7% of the supply, I'd expect it's a big exchange with a big customer base, okay? So I think there are exchanges loading up. It's just a question of when, not if. When does the listing get announced? And time isn't necessarily on our side. That's the issue. If they take too long, they're going to risk giving the announcement during the bear market. And good news in a bear market, it's not always as good as what it is in a bull market, right? So timing is everything in crypto. If you go and put the tier 1 listing out now, there's going to be so much hype. Everyone's going to talk about Kaspa on the next run. It's going to get all the headlines. All the influencers are going to talk about it. But if you go and give the listing during the bear market when Bitcoin's at 50K, it's just not going to have the effect. There's going to be no hype. No one cares. And that's my worry, is if they take too long, it's going to be in the bear market. So I really, really hope it gets announced in the next month or two. If it does, it's going to be amazing for Kaspa. I would expect all-time high prices shortly after. Yeah, CZ said 5 trillion market cap top this cycle. Yeah, these guys say all sorts of things. You know, I don't listen to their targets. I listen to other things they say. You know, they got a lot of value to add, but when it comes to price targets, I don't listen to these guys. It's quite funny. It seems like the richer you are, the more ludicrous your price targets are. These guys like Cathie Wood, Michael Saylor, they have the most crazy price targets. It's hard to even fathom, right? But yeah, they're very smart business operators, you could say. I mean, how do you get everyone to buy Bitcoin? Tell them all it's going to 20 million very soon. That's something that will create FOMO. Archie, bruv, Wagwan. No, selling may go away this year. I don't think so. You know, selling may go away. It's not actually backed by recent evidence, particularly with crypto. If you go to Bitcoin performance month by month and look at it, there's no evidence that selling may go away really affects Bitcoin any more than what other months affect Bitcoin. Selling May might have played out in the past with the stock market, but with crypto, I don't really see the correlation that well. Okay. March has more red months than May, by the looks of it. September has more red months than May, by the looks of it. And December has around the same red month quantity as May. So if selling May is such a strong thesis, it has to be by far the most red month, surely. But it's not. It's not. And February, which is usually the most bullish month or whatever, you know, one of the most bullish months alongside October, February was actually bearish this year. So anything you have conventionally in your mind, it's just not going to play out, right? Whatever slogan or tagline you have, it's just going to do the opposite, because that's how this cycle's been all along. Anything you think will happen, it will probably throw you off. So I'm not selling in May and going away personally. If you want to do that, by all means, go and do it, but I'm not doing it. Chirp, how's it going, man? Always great to see you. VIP here. Been watching since 2023. Wow. Long time ago. We hit some crazy X's in that time. But wish I had joined a lot sooner. Love the group and realistic expectations, non-toxic and fun talks in the VC. Cheers, bro. No problem, man. Great to have you in the VIP group, and you've been watching the channel for a long time. 2023. You're one of the loyal viewers on the channel. I appreciate that. And you're absolutely right about the group. It's non-toxic. There's literally no issues really with the group. I know other groups, they're having to kick people out every single day, left, right, and center. I can't remember the last time we had to ban someone from the group. It was probably a year ago. Okay, and I only ban people for really serious things. Like trying to scam people or, you know, being straight up completely disrespectful. Most of the time, everyone's really chill. Everyone's there to help each other. And the voice chats are probably part of that. A lot of other groups, they don't do the voice chats, so you never really get to know each other on more of a personal level. But with my group, I do the voice chats, and I'm in them almost every day. So a lot of the members, they know me on a very personal level. They talk to me every day. And, you know, that's because I spend a lot of time in the group, and I'm here to help people. So you're absolutely right on all those points, man. Especially the realistic expectations. You know, a lot of people have been gravitating towards the channel and the VIP recently because of those expectations. And I've got a lot of hate for saying, you know, certain coins will only do a 5x or a 10x or whatever, while other YouTubers are saying 100x, right? So, but we'll see who's right in the end, right? We'll see who is correct at the end of the bull run. What are your thoughts on stablecoins? I think stablecoins, are you talking about for Kaspa? Stablecoins on Kaspa, I think, will be a good catalyst. If you think about all the different chains out there, Kaspa makes the most sense for stablecoins because it has the scalability of something like a Tron or a Solana, right? But it's heavily decentralized. Why do you want a stablecoin on a really centralized network? That's what happened with Luna, right? That's what happened with Luna. Luna was extremely centralized. They effed up the network. The stablecoin went to zero. So if I'm picking a chain where I want stablecoins on, it's probably going to be Kaspa. I don't really trust Tron too much. Like, I know the chart looks good and all of that, but I don't know how I feel about Tron. I don't know if I really trust them. So I think stablecoins on Kaspa will be a really good catalyst in the long run. But as always, it will take a long time for adoption. It's not going to happen overnight. You know, you could have stablecoins on Kaspa next week, and they're not going to have the user base. It's going to take a long time before it gets to that point. And that's why I've always stressed, you know, Kaspa's not going to make you 100x overnight. It's going to be a coin which will do really well, but it's a slow and steady wins the race type of approach. And that's fine. You know, that favors longevity, but it doesn't favor 100x pumps. And people need to realize that. They need to be honest with themselves. Hi, Archie. As always, great stream. Thank you. Are you still on a $1 Kaspa without a tier 1 exchange? And which site do you find the new coins? Are you always looking into each coin/narrative? Thank you, from Germany. Yeah, so Kaspa $1, I think it can hit $1. It might not even go as high as $1. It might go lower, but I think it can hit $1. If it doesn't get a tier 1, I think it's probably topping out lower than $1 at this point. Okay, with everything we know with the macro, with everything we know with the charts currently, if Kaspa doesn't get a tier 1, it probably won't hit $1 or higher, in my view. Okay, in my view. Now, you can disagree, that's fine. But it needs a tier 1 to get a dollar valuation or higher this cycle. Next cycle, it could go way higher than $1 next cycle. It could be at $5 or $10 next cycle. But this cycle, it needs a tier 1 to 10x in value, is what you're saying. 10x in value or more. Kaspa's at 9 cents. So a 10x from here will put it at 90 cents. So you need more than a 10x in value. Do you realize how high that is. Do you realize how much money needs to flow in for that to happen? Kaspa's currently only at a 2 billion market cap. For it to go to $1, it needs to be above like 25 billion. It needs to be at like 26 billion in market cap. What's your time frame for this? Because I think there's going to be a lot of macroeconomic weakness in the back end of the year, which could prevent us from having a traditional 4-year cycle Q4 top. I don't think that's the base case, a 4-year cycle. I think that's probably optimistic at this point in time. There's a good chance of a left-leaning deviation of this bull run. For that reason, I'm not looking at Bitcoin going to 150K or higher. I'm just not. It could happen, but we would have to break an 8-year trend line in order to do that. So whenever I'm deriving my price predictions on altcoins, like I'm deriving them from Bitcoin is what I'm trying to say. Whenever I'm giving you price predictions on altcoins, I'm extrapolating from my Bitcoin prediction, and then I'm saying, well, Bitcoin can do this, that altcoin could do that. Now, if Bitcoin only goes to 120K, where are altcoins going to go? It's probably going to be good gains, right? But it's not going to be 10, 20, 30, 40 X's like with ease. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be that way. So I would say if Kaspa gets a tier 1 listing, it could definitely hit $1, maybe slightly higher. If it doesn't get a tier 1 listing, I'd probably be expecting like a 10X or a 5 to 10X from here, right? So that's why I've kind of given my target on Kaspa as a 5 to 10X. That's my current target from today. And you might say that's bearish, but Kaspa's been trading in the same range now for like 2 years. So of course I'm going to reduce my target based on that. But eventually it will break out and it'll be very good. And based on how do I research coins, I do explain all of this in my video course, which you can get by joining the bundle. But I have a very detailed approach to research. I can't fit it into an hour stream. I just can't. It's like a 3-hour course that I talk about this. But I have a spreadsheet I follow essentially, and there's all different things I look for. I look at the tokenomics. I look at the white paper. I look at the team. I look at the VC raise. This is something I mentioned in the last stream. You know, it's very important a coin raises money, especially if it's a centralized coin. If it's a decentralized coin like Bitcoin or Kaspa, then it's the opposite, right? You don't want to raise because they are decentralized protocols. That's the whole USP of them. But when it comes to centralized coins such as Solana, XRP, you know, most coins in crypto are centralized. You want a good raise. So I would be looking on Crypto Rank at the fundraising rounds. I'd be looking at how much money went into it and who backed it. Thoughts on swarms? Swarms or swarm markets? Which coin do you mean? Turbo outperforming the market? Of course, a meme at some point will outperform the market, right? It's going to happen at some point. Yeah, SBF is behind bars, I know. Do you see your crypto price targets still happening this year? Yes, I do, because I've got very realistic price targets. Unlike 90% of other people on YouTube who call for 500K Bitcoin in 2 months' time. Do you think we get a full alt season this year? I think we get an alt season, but not to the extremity of last alt season. That's my stance. So if we take a look at BTCD, it really has been a Bitcoin cycle for a very long time now. Now, if we take a look at this, it's very telling. In the last alt season, we went from a height of Bitcoin dominance being around 73%. We got to a low of around 38%, okay? The previous one before that, so the 2017 bull run, we got as low as 35% dominance. Now, what you can see is this clear trend with Bitcoin dominance, which I've outlined with these yellow lines, this clear trend of us basically finding higher lows on Bitcoin dominance. So this is our first low, right? That's our first low. This is our second low. I think the next one is also going to be a higher low on Bitcoin dominance, maybe like 45 to 50%, something like that, right? Something like that. Now, Bitcoin dominance has kind of gone off course a long time ago. It should have started dipping probably at the end of last year, but it's just kept on going up. I think maybe it hits 66% and then it comes down. And that point in which it comes down will be our alt season. I don't have Bitcoin dominance going as low as 2017. I don't have Bitcoin dominance going as low as 2021. So really what this chart shows is basically Bitcoin dominance is in a macro uptrend. It's got higher lows. Altcoins haven't lived up to their expectations that was put on them back in 2017 when everyone thought we were in the next .com bubble, where all these new launches are going to take over the world. It's the new internet, Web3. We're going to be playing these play-to-earn games. We're going to be trading NFTs of each other. It hasn't lived up to that expectation. Now, it might in the future, but it seems like AI in the macro has just kind of overshadowed crypto. Crypto innovation has been kind of just put on the back seat while AI has taken the spotlight. So I do have Bitcoin dominance going down, which would be the definition of an alt season. I just don't have it going down maybe to the extent of last cycle or 2017. And you can see that it is kind of in a higher low trend. I mean, 2 isn't technically a trend, but if we did it again here, it would be a clear trend. Good day, bro. Do you think price action will be around the BTC conference at the end of the month? Oh, what do you think price action will be at during the Bitcoin conference? How's it going, Mad Greek? Welcome to the stream. Very active member in the Discord. It's always good to have you in the stream. The Bitcoin conference, the end of the month, I don't give loads of emphasis on the Bitcoin conference. I know in the past they have been sell the news events, but it just seems like everything that you have as conventional wisdom this cycle, just throw it out the window. Any conventional wisdom you have this cycle, just throw it out the window because it hasn't been working. People say sell in May, go away. May is probably going to be green. People sell altcoins during conferences. We just had the Token 49 conference, 2049 conference, whatever it was. That pumped the price. So will the Bitcoin conference dump the price? You know, I don't think so. I mean, it might cause a short-term bit of volatility, but I don't think it will be like a top signal. But that's going to be at the end of the month. I think we will range, actually, for the rest of this month. I'll show you where I think we'll range. Show you where I think we'll range. So Bitcoin has actually regained this really important support. Let me do this. So Bitcoin basically traded in this range here that I've outlined in the green from November to February. For a few months, Bitcoin traded in this range, like 3 months. Then we had the massive crash down. And now we've regained the range. So I kind of expect Bitcoin to stay in this range for the rest of May. And then maybe in June, we eventually break out and we get above 102K and we start tackling these all-time highs in June. That's kind of what I'm expecting, okay? Take it with a grain of salt, obviously, but that's kind of my expectation is we remain in this range now. Now that we've regained it, we remain in this range for a month, a few weeks. And while we're in this range, alts can actually pump because a lot of people don't factor this in. But when Bitcoin's consolidating, that can actually lay the grounds for an altcoin rally because people move away from Bitcoin into altcoins. Really, really important point. When Bitcoin has a parabolic move, alts don't actually pump that much during the parabolic move. They obviously pump, but Bitcoin's getting a lot of the attention during the parabolic move. It's only when Bitcoin kind of consolidates that you see the emphasis and the focus turn to the altcoins. That's when the focus turns to the altcoins, is when Bitcoin actually consolidates. When it's having this parabolic move, all the eyes are on Bitcoin. Bitcoin kind of steals the show. So it's not necessarily a bad thing for altcoins if Bitcoin enters a few weeks of consolidation. It's really not a bad thing. Altcoins could actually pump during that period and catch up to Bitcoin. Because some altcoins haven't even really pumped on this run. They can now catch up. So that's kind of my thought is, if we do consolidate for a few weeks, it's not going to be bad. It's not going to be bad at all. Especially if you're in strong altcoins, you could actually get some nice pumps on the altcoins at that point because altcoins have a lagging effect. And when Bitcoin becomes boring, where do people put their money? They get out of Bitcoin, they go into Solana, they go into Sui, they go into other coins, XRP. So altcoins are playing catch up here. They still haven't technically had a clear breakout, I would say. Total 3 is still kind of below this trend line that I outlined a while back. And it is above the March highs. It's finding support right now on the March highs. So this is really, really good if we can get a bounce from here. And the RSI is starting to break out. So Total 3 looks ready to move up, in my view. It really does, especially if we can use this March high as support, which it looks like it's trying to do right now, and then gather momentum for another bounce. Altcoins are due a really good move in the next few weeks if this happens. So it's a big if, but it's looking quite good. Retire in 2 months. I have 50K in your top 5, but I'll be glad if I can get a 3x by then. Look, a 3x is fine. I mean, obviously, my title is used to get some clicks, right? So I'm not saying everyone's going to retire in 2 months, but a lot of people will. There's a good group of people in my VIP who I strongly believe will be retiring in a couple months. They've got 500K in the game. They've got $1 million in the game. You know, if you've got $1 million in the game right now and you get 5x, 5 million, you're done, right? You don't have to work ever again in your life. So there's definitely people out there who will retire in the next 2 months. And then some people will semi-retire, right? Maybe you've got 100K in the market. If you get a 5x on 100K, that could give you 500K. You could maybe pay off your mortgage, you know. The point is, the next 2 months are going to be very big for a lot of us, right? I'm not saying everyone's going to retire. It's obviously not the case. But I need to use a title that will get some clicks, right? Hopefully you guys can understand that. Yeah, what are my thoughts on Mavia? I think it's solid. And Mavia can go in the low cap area as one of the lower down picks. It's just really, really volatile. So Mavia is certainly one of the best gaming coins, probably the best micro cap gaming coin, but it's just ridiculously volatile. Like, this thing could literally do nothing this whole bull run, or it could go and pull like a 40x. Like, it's just stupid the way it moves. Hey, Archie, I'm in the VIP group, and I've got to say, it's amazing. Thank you, man. A lot of knowledgeable people in there, especially Cryptex with the chart requests. Question, do you plan on expanding it into stocks too? Yes, during the bear market, we'll have more of an emphasis on other forms of finance as well, not just crypto. We do already have a chat which is dedicated to the stock market. I have about 5 to 10% of my net worth in stocks and like 90% in crypto. So I am putting most of my focus into crypto, obviously, but you know, there'll definitely be a time to buy stocks as well when they have a massive correction, which I think they will in the next year or so. You know, there'll be a great opportunity to buy some stocks. So that will definitely be some topics for discussion in the stock channel. But we do have a stock channel. It's not the most active channel in the Discord, I must admit. The crypto channels are way more active than the stocks channel, but we do have one if you are interested in discussing the stock market. But I appreciate the really kind feedback about the group, and I'm glad you're enjoying it and you're getting your money's worth. And I want to give a shout out to Cryptex as well. He's my TA analyst. TA analyst doesn't really make sense, right? It's got analyst in TA. Technical analyst. So he's my TA guy. He's doing the technical analysis in the group. And, you know, you can see everyone asks for requests in the chat. He does multiple requests a day. Could you check IONET for me? He goes and gives the chart, kind of outlines support resistance, shows you potential breakout levels, potential take profit levels. It's really, really, really helpful to have, especially as we get to the point where we need to facilitate our exit strategies. When it comes to the exit strategy game, Cryptex is going to be really, really helpful with these altcoins. So you're going to be able to ask him, hey, can you give me some levels to DCA out at? And he'll give you the full extensive report on which levels he recommends selling at. So that is a really, really useful part of the Discord for sure. And I'm glad you've given it some light. Worth selling Ondo and moving funds to something else. Thanks, Archie. Love you, mate. Thank you, man. Appreciate the support. You guys are giving a lot of support today. Appreciate it, guys. Is it worth selling Ondo? I don't think it's worth selling Ondo. I think Ondo is the best RWA coin. And I think you want one coin in the RWA narrative. You want a bit of exposure in that sector. It's constantly talked about by the big institutions of the world, the BlackRocks and whatnot. And it's one of the best use cases for blockchain technology. So I think Ondo is a solid buy at these levels. It is a little bit quiet right now, but got to remember, Ondo was one of the key players in this cycle. It did a really big move earlier on. It went from like 50 cents to $2, giving you a nice 4x. So it's a key player of this cycle, and I wouldn't be underestimating what they're doing. So I'd have Ondo in the portfolio. I just wouldn't be more than 5% in it personally. You just got to do the mathematics. Bitcoin being 1 billion per coin, like what's your money supply at that point? It's not adding up, bro. Bitcoin's going to do really well, but when you hear these asinine targets, 1 billion per coin, I mean, it just makes me laugh, to be honest. It's pretty funny. How did you get into crypto at such a young age? Did you have a mentor? No. I appreciate the question. I didn't have a mentor. I got into crypto like 13, 14, something like that, because I was just trying to find ways to make money online. I came across the stock market, came across crypto. My dad kindly set up an account for me on the stock market. I went to him. He'd never invested in stocks in his life. I went to him and asked him, could you set up an account, and I can trade in it a little bit. And it didn't go too well. I lost money first with the stocks. I think I bought Tesla or something and it dumped. Or Apple, whatever it was. It didn't go too well. But then I found crypto. And instantly with crypto, I had great success. With the meme coins, with the gaming coins, with Cardano. Cardano is one I held all last cycle and made a great deal of money on it. But I never had a mentor. Neither of my parents ever invested in crypto or stocks. I didn't have a mentor. I just used my initiative, really, and studied books, courses, just immersed myself in the space at a young age. So, yeah, very, very fortunate, I guess, but I can't point to anyone and say, yeah, that guy taught me crypto, that guy taught me crypto. I learned it all myself. So, fully self-taught. And now I teach others. So, yeah. Can you explain a bit of how the Gaussian channel is calculated? It's like a moving average. I think it's like a collection of different moving averages. I don't know the exact formula, but it's a collection of different moving averages, and it's really, really accurate for predicting the end of a bull market for crypto or for Bitcoin. And you can see it's moving up right now. So the margin of error is reduced the more it moves up. So right now, Bitcoin could afford to maybe dump to like 82K while maintaining a bull market structure. If it went to like 75K, you'd be well into a bear market. Okay, so what was previously support on the Gaussian channel, now if we went to those levels, we'd be well into the Gaussian channel and it would probably be a bear market, right? But you've also got to remember there's a big difference between a wick and a weekly close. There's a massive difference. Weekly closes are way more valid than just a wick. Yeah, guys, definitely hit the like button. I would appreciate that if we could. How many likes we got on the stream? Let me check. 48 likes, 170 watching on YouTube, and only 48 likes. Not the best. I would really appreciate it if you could hit the like. It'll encourage me to do more live streams. I round-tripped 80% of my portfolio in my first year. Should I give up? You should never give up. You shouldn't give up. Losing isn't a reason to give up, you know? Just because you failed, it's not a reason to quit. It's the reason to, you know, get even better so you don't do it again. Hello, Archie. Joined VIP, and I like it very much. Like your simple yet deep thinking. Thank you. Appreciate the kind remarks. How do you feel about Sonic? Sonic is a consideration of mine. The only thing with Sonic is the lack of performance this cycle. I've constantly stressed to you guys that you've got to be in the clear winners. Sui is the clearest winner of this cycle. Sonic, however, has not been a clear winner of this cycle. They did the upgrade. They did that token change. And since then, it's like halved in value. So I can't indicate Sonic as a coin which is a clear winner. I can't make that indication. Sui has all the indications of a clear winner. Sonic, it's more like a Cardano. You know, could do well. It's got a community, but it's not got the momentum. And momentum, as I always say, is everything in crypto. If you lose the momentum, you lose the structure in the chart. It can take a very, very long time to regain that. Polkadot would be a perfect example. It's never even gotten close to its 2021 levels. It's lost its momentum. It's lost its edge. I just need 100K to retire in Asia. Lol. If I was doing that in a Western country, I'd need millions. Well, there you go, right? Some people only need 100K to retire. If you're in Thailand or Bali, it's going to be a lot less that you require to retire because of the cheaper cost of living. So there's going to be a good deal of people who will retire based on these altcoins, but most people won't, obviously. If everyone could retire, it'd be too easy. If everyone did retire, it would be too easy. Everyone can retire, but everyone won't. That's the key thing. Are you selling all your crypto in the winter or holding any coins to next cycle? I'm not holding any coins to next cycle, only a bit of Bitcoin, but I'll sell basically all my altcoins this bull run. And I don't even think it will be as long as winter. It could be in the summer. We could have enough indications of a top in the summer rather than waiting until the winter. And I think the macro economy kind of signals a summer top rather than a winter top. You've got the 90-day pause being removed in the summer on Europe. So that pause will be gone. Will tariffs be coming back into effect for Europe? You have a potential rate cut in July. That could be enough to give us one last run and then kind of top us out pretty soon after. So I'm searching for top signals, right? You have probably the lagging effect of tariffs and high interest rates coming into place more in the summer. You'll probably see the labor market weaken. You'll probably see the hard data weaken in general with worse earnings. You know, it's a pretty uncertain macro environment in the next 6 months. So yeah, there's a potential chance we are in the last run now, and we're heading up now for an all-time high in the next couple months, and we're going to see a crazy alt season in the summer, and then that's it. Done. So this is the time to act, right? This is the time to get your portfolio in shape, make sure you've got the right coins, make sure you've got an exit strategy. I'm doing all of that in the VIP group. And so is Cryptex with his charting. But this is the time to act, okay? This is the time to immerse yourself in the space, get yourself in a 24/7 active group like my own, learn from someone who's made millions in crypto at a very young age. And yeah, come join me. You know, so if you're interested in that, the VIP group is linked in the description. Like I've said many times, based on the demand, the prices are formed. The more demand I get, the higher the prices go. Right now, we are getting a big influx in demand. So I will be, altering the prices pretty soon. The prices will be subject to change based on the demand. So get yourselves in the group. You'll also gain access to these 2 buy alerts, which I've recently put out, which are secret buy alerts. One of them is tiny in market cap, could potentially do a 50x, 7 to 50x. The other is more of a mid cap. I've got that one doing like a 7 to 15x personally. So if you're interested in those 2 gems as well, you can get those in the VIP group. But just overall, man, you're getting such a quality group. You know, people in the stream have said it for themselves. And every single review I have in the group is 5 stars. I've got 33 5-star reviews. You can just read them for yourself, right? Everyone likes the group, and we have a very, very low cancellation rate because of the quality of the group. Yeah, the meme coin narrative, it's for short-term investing, aka swing trading. It's not for long-term holds. I don't know many people who got rich from long-term holding meme coins for longer than a year. I really don't. Yeah, I made a lot of money on meme coins last cycle. How did I do that? By flipping them. By buying it one day and then selling it a few days later. That's literally how I made the money on memes. I bought Doge Elon Mars last cycle during the very bottom when I was in school. Okay, this is when I was at college. So I was at college, and by the way, I did well in college. I got all A stars, 2 A stars and an A. But I've got to be honest, 80% of the time my mind was distracted with crypto. So even though I got good results, the whole time I was just thinking about crypto, trading crypto. This was my focus, really, right? And it was the first run on Doge Elon, okay? 2021, April. Bought this thing. It must have been a week later, a week or 2 later. I'm up like ridiculous X's, right? Ridiculous X's. And I sold it all. I didn't sell the exact top. So I did get in basically at the low. I didn't sell the exact top, but I didn't have to. Even if I just bought here and sold here, I still like 50x'd my money, right? So you didn't even have to sell the exact top. But yeah, all the money I've made on meme coins in the past, it's all been by quick buy and sells. Mumu the Bull would be another example. We got into this one in the VIP group at 0.01. We sold at a 14x between I think between an 8 to a 14x, I was exiting out. So on average, I think I 11x'd my money maybe. Or was it? No, it was, so it was a 12x. So I think overall, I 10x'd my money on Mumu. Overall, I 10x'd my money. I did that by literally buying and then selling a few weeks later. I bought down here June 24th, I think it was. Something like that. And then I sold literally at the top. That's how I took profits on Mumu. So I sold like 95% of the bag at the top, kept a tiny moon bag in. What happened to that moon bag? Well, it just went down, right? So I didn't make the money by long-term holding. I made the money by selling all of it on the pump. 95% and just keep a tiny moon bag in. If it does well, great. If that moon bag goes and pumps, amazing. But most times it won't. It won't do well. And that's why you got to take the profits in the first place. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up the stream here. I'm going to wrap up the stream here. As Kashi says, the best group in crypto, period. Absolutely. wap.com/cryptoarchie. It's down below, pinned in the comment section, pinned in the description. And by the way, if you do want to pay in cryptocurrency for the group, because you don't want to pay in fiat, okay, maybe there's a little fee when you're paying through fiat. If you want to avoid the fees and pay in crypto, check out the email address in the description. You can pay in crypto, but that's only for yearly or lifetime options, okay? It's too much of a time procedure for us to do crypto payments for monthly options. Too much time involved in that. But if you are looking for a yearly option or lifetime, there is a crypto payment available there for you, okay? Appreciate you guys all joining the stream. If you want to get on a one-to-one call with myself, if you want a lifetime mentor, someone who's going to be with you for life when it comes to crypto, check out the big bundle. That's only for people who are looking for 7 figures in the next year or so. It's not for everyone, but if that is your goal, then check it out. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you in the next live stream. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, guys. Goodbye.